BNP has no right to talk about elections as party extremely polluted election process during its rule, says Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina urges all not to build indiscriminate structures as she inaugurates newly built multi-story Cox's Bazar Development Authority building. Parliament goes into budget session from June 5th. Bangladesh not to be affected by India announcing closure of wheat exports, says Commerce Minister. Flood situation in Sylhet worsens as water level rises in Shurma and Kushiara rivers 274.
আজকে বিএনপির নির্বাচনের প্রশ্ন তোলে। বিএনপির আমলে নির্বাচনের ইতিহাস এতই কলুষিত যে তাদের তো এই নিয়ে কথা বলার কোনো অধিকারই নাই। কোন মুখে তারা বলে? প্রত্যেকটা সময় তো আমরা দেখেছি তাদের ইলেকশনের চিত্র। বিএনপি এদের নেতৃত্ব কোথায়? নেতৃত্ব নাই, সবই তো সাজাপ্রাপ্ত আসামি। তো সাজাপ্রাপ্ত আসামি দিয়ে নির্বাচনে জেতা যায় না। আর নির্বাচনে পরাজয় হবে জেনেই তো তারা নির্বাচনকে নিয়ে প্রশ্নবিদ্ধ করতে চায়, কলুষিত করতে চায়। জ্ঞানী গুণী আতেলরাও উল্টো পাল্টা কথা বলেন, তাদেরকেও বলবো দেশ চালাবার যদি ইচ্ছা থাকে তো মাঠে আসেন, ভোটে নামেন, কেউ ভোট কেড়ে নেবে না। তো আমরা বলতে পারি আমরা ভোট কেড়ে নিতে চাই না, আমরা জনগণের ভোট পাই এবং আমরা পাবো, কারণ আমরা জনগণের জন্য কাজ করেছি। বাংলাদেশ যে নিজের অর্থায়নে পদ্মা সেতু করতে পারে সেটা আজকে আমরা প্রমাণ করেছি। কিন্তু আমাদের এখানে একজন জ্ঞানী লোক বলে ফেললেন যে পদ্মা সেতুতে যে রেল লাইন হচ্ছে 40,000 কোটি টাকা খরচ হচ্ছে, 40,000 কোটি টাকা তো ঋণ নিয়ে করা হচ্ছে, এই ঋণ শোধ হবে কি করে? কারণ ওই দক্ষিণবঙ্গের কোনো মানুষ তো রেলে চড়বে না। সেতুর কাজ হয়ে গেছে, আর সেতু নিয়ে কথা বলে আর পাচ্ছে না। এখন রেলের কাজ চলছে, এখন রেলের কাজ নিয়ে তারা প্রশ্ন তুলেছে। যাক, আমার মনে হয় আমাদের সকলের ওনাকে চিনে রাখা উচিত। রেলগাড়ি যখন চালু হবে ওনাকে রেলে নিয়ে চড়ানো উচিত। আর খালেদা জিয়া বলেছিল যে জোড়াতালি দিয়ে পদ্মা সেতু বানাচ্ছে, কারণ বিভিন্ন স্পানগুলি যে বসাচ্ছে তো ওটা ছিল তার কাছে জোড়াতালি দেওয়া। তো বলছিল জোড়াতালি দিয়ে পদ্মা সেতু বানাচ্ছে, ওখানে চড়া যাবে না, চলে ভেঙে পড়বে। আবার তার সাথে তার কিছু দোষরাও। তো তাদেরকে কি করা উচিত? পদ্মা সেতুতে নিয়ে যে ওখান থেকে পদ্মা নদীতে টুস করে ফেলে দেওয়া উচিত। আর যিনি আমাদের এটা এমডি পদের জন্য পদ্মা সেতুর মতো সেতুর টাকা বন্ধ করেছে, তাকেও আবার পদ্মা নদীতে দিয়ে 2টা চুবনি দিয়ে উঠাই নেওয়া উচিত, মরে যাতে না যায়। একটু পদ্মা নদীতে চুবনি দিয়ে সেতুতে তুলে দেওয়া উচিত। তাহলে যদি এদের শিক্ষা হয়। আমরা দল হিসেবেও আমাদের যেটুকু দেশের জন্য করার কাজ, দলের প্রত্যেকটা নেতাকর্মী সেভাবে মানুষের পাশে দাঁড়াবে, মানুষের জন্য কাজ করবে। এই সন্ত্রাস, জঙ্গিবাদ বা দুর্নীতিবাজ এদের হাত থেকে দলকে মুক্ত রাখা, দেশকে মুক্ত রাখা, দেশকে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যাওয়া।
At the program, on behalf of Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Awami League General Secretary and Road Transport and Bridges Minister Abdul handed over sewing machines and other assistance to orphans and destitute people. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has urged all not to build indiscriminate establishment in Cox's Bazar, saying her government is implementing projects to ensure its overall development, maintaining natural beauty to make it a major global tourist destination. She said this while inaugurating a newly constructed eco-friendly multi-story office building of the Cox's Bazar Development Authority today. The Prime Minister said she had already been instructed to prepare a master plan to ensure planned development surrounding the Cox's Bazar following the international standard to attract both foreign and local tourists. Sheikh Hasina asked the authorities concerned to focus on maintaining natural beauty, environment and biodiversity in taking development programs for Cox's Bazar Beach. She said they will have to take development programs for Cox's Bazar Beach not only with bricks and woods, but rather to integrate nature, environment and biodiversity. The Prime Minister also emphasized preserving nature to protect people from the natural calamities.
কক্সবাজার আমাদের এত চমৎকার একটা জায়গা, এটা পর্যটন নগরী হিসেবে গড়ে তোলা একান্তভাবে অপরিহার্য। সেই জন্য আমার একটা কক্সবাজারবাসীর কাছে অনুরোধ থাকবে, যেখানে সেখানে যত্রতত্র অপরিকল্পিতভাবে কোনো স্থাপনা আপনারা করবেন না। ইতিমধ্যে আমরা কক্সবাজারে কিন্তু অনেকগুলি প্রকল্প নিয়েছি। আমরা সেখানে আজকে রেল লাইন, যেটা দীর্ঘ দিনের একটা দাবি ছিল কক্সবাজারবাসী, চমৎকার একটা রেল স্টেশন, খুব আকর্ষণীয় রেল স্টেশন নির্মাণ হয়েছে এবং এটা কাজটা খুব দ্রুতই শেষ হবে। আজকে মহেশখালীতে গভীর সমুদ্র বন্দর যেমন তৈরি হচ্ছে, বিদ্যুৎ কেন্দ্র তৈরি হচ্ছে, সেখানে বিনিয়োগ হচ্ছে, বিশেষ অর্থনৈতিক অঞ্চল হচ্ছে, বলতে গেলে এটা একটা ডিজিটাল আইল্যান্ড হিসেবে ঘোষণা দেওয়া হয়েছে। এর উন্নয়নটা যারা দেখবে, দেশীয় আন্তর্জাতিকভাবে সবাই বিস্মিত হবে যে এরকম উন্নয়ন করা যায়। যেহেতু এটা আন্তর্জাতিক এয়ার রুটে পড়ে, আমরা কক্সবাজার যে বিমানবন্দর, সেই বিমানবন্দরকে আন্তর্জাতিক বিমানবন্দর হিসেবে প্রতিষ্ঠিত করার কাজ চলমান রয়েছে। এই বিমানবন্দরটা যখন হবে, তখন আপনারা জানেন যে আজকে যারা মানে পশ্চিমা দেশ থেকে প্রাচ্যের দেশে যারা যায়, তারা কিন্তু এই কক্সবাজার থেকে রিফুয়েলিং করবে।
State Minister of the Ministry of Housing and Public Works Sharif Ahmed and his Secretary Mohammad Shohidullah Khondokar spoke on the occasion, while Chairman of Cox's Development Authority, Lieutenant Colonel retired Furkan Hamid, gave the welcome address. President Abdul Hamid called upon international community to take comprehensive and coordinated steps to address the adverse effect of climate change. He made the call while virtually opening the International Conference on Climate Change and Food Security in South Asia at Dhaka University this afternoon. Joining the program from the Ganu Bhavan, the President said South Asia, homes of around 22% of the global population, is particularly vulnerable to climate change. Referring to various scientific studies and reports, Abdul Hamid said Bangladesh could lose 1/3 of its land area due to the rising sea level. The President highlighted the present government's various steps, including adopting Bangladesh Delta Plan 2100 to mitigate the adverse impact of climate change and natural disasters. Mentioning it as a global problem, the President urged all to work together for an equitable solution. President Abdul Hamid stressed on taking research further for the development of high-yielding and flood, drought and salinity-tolerant crop varieties to ensure food security.
Climate change and food security is a long-standing issue. Business as usual approach will not help reduce the adverse impact of global warming. We must turn our words into action, and we must take comprehensive and integrated steps to combat the adverse effect of global warming on food security. I hope that the international community will come forward to provide assistance in tackling the loss of lives and livelihood due to climate change. The time for action is now, and there is simply no time for delay.
Dhaka University Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. Mohammad Akhtar-Zaman, Pro Vice Chancellor Professor A.S.M. Maqsood Kamal, Secretary General of the World Meteorological Organization Professor Dr. P.T. Tullas, Food and Agriculture Organization Representative Robert Douglas Simpson also spoke on the occasion. The Jatiyo সংসদ will go into its budget session for fiscal year 2022-23 on June 5th. A Jatiyo সংসদ Secretariat press release today said President Abdul Hamid convened the session exercising the power bestowed upon him as per the Clause 1 of Article 72 of the Constitution. The session, also the 18th one of the 11 Jatiyo সংসদ, will begin at 5 p.m. Commerce Minister Tipu Munshi has said export ban decision of wheat by India will not create any impact on Bangladesh. He said this at a meeting of the Task Force Committee reviewing commodity prices and market situation at the Secretariat today. Commerce Secretary Tapun Kanti Ghosh, members of the task force and representatives from different trade bodies were present. The Commerce Minister says there are scopes for wheat import from India on G2G deals despite the country's ban on export. He goes on to saying prices of all food products are being fixed in favor of the consumers. The prices of flour, onions, salt, sugar, and edible oils will remain within the reach despite the Russia-Ukrainian war, Tipu Munshi added. The minister says production of edible oils is being increased from internal sources in order to address the crisis. Meanwhile, non-resident ambassador of Singapore to Bangladesh, Direk Loh, made a courtesy call on Commerce Minister Tipu Munshi at the Secretariat today. Later, the minister told the journalists that Singapore is very important to Bangladesh for import-export business. He said there is enough scope to increase trade and commerce between Bangladesh and Singapore. The Singaporean ambassador said Bangladesh can get more cooperation from Singapore in carrying goods using waterways. The trailer of the film titled Mujib, the Maker of a Nation, on the life and works of Father of the Nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, to be held at 75th Cannes Film Festival tomorrow. Information and Broadcasting Minister Dr. Hassan Mahmood is on the way to France to join the inaugural function. Besides Information and Broadcasting Minister of India Anurag Singh Thakur, Biopic's Director Shyam Benegal, Executive Director of the Biopic and BFDC Managing Director Nuzhat Yasmin, and key actors and officials will attend the opening of the trailer of the biopic. Bangladesh and India are jointly producing the biopic titled Mujib, the Maker of a Nation. Shooting of the film began at the outset of 2021 and it is scheduled to be released this year. Expatriates Welfare and Overseas Employment Minister Imran Hamid has called on with Qatar Labour Minister Ali bin Samig Al Mari in Doha this morning. During the meeting, discussions were held on the development of Bangladesh's labour market in Qatar, recruitment of necessary workers from Bangladesh in the security, hospitality and transport sectors during the FIFA World Cup 2022, and skilled and semi-skilled workers in the development projects after the World Cup. Qatar minister expressed interest in recruiting skilled workers from Bangladesh. While praising the efficiency of Bangladeshi workers, Senior Secretary to the Prime Minister's Office Mohammad Tofazul Hossain Mia, Bangladesh Ambassador to Qatar Mohammad Joshimuddin, Under Secretary of the Ministry of Labour of Qatar Hassan Al Obaidli, Managing Director of BOSEL Mohammad Bilal Hussain were present during the meeting. Moving on to international news. Pollution caused some 9 million people to die prematurely in 2019, according to a new global report, with experts raising alarm over increasing deaths from breathing outside air and the horrifying toll of lead poisoning. The Lancet Commission on Pollution and Health said the impact from pollution on global health remains much greater than that of war, terrorism, malaria, HIV, tuberculosis, drugs, and alcohol. Pollution is an existential threat to human health and planetary health and jeopardizes the sustainability of modern societies, it added. In general, the review found air pollution accounting for a total of 6.7 million deaths globally in 2019 was entwined with climate change because the main source of both problems is burning fossil fuels and biofuels. Overall, 1 in 6 premature deaths globally were caused by pollution, a figure unchanged since the last assessment in 2015. Ukrainian army defending the Mariupol's Azovstal steel plant surrendered after Ukrainian officials negotiated evacuation measures with the Kremlin. The fate of Azovstal fighters remain uncertain after hundreds surrendered and were transported to Russian-controlled territory. Ukrainian Deputy Defense Minister Hanna Maliar said an exchange procedure will take place for their return home. In his video address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky caused that the Ukrainian troops might not be freed immediately and warned that negotiations over their release would require delicacy and time. Russian President Vladimir Putin said Ukrainian soldiers evacuated from the steel plant would be treated in line with the relevant international laws. Meanwhile, Russia continues its missile struck in the regions of Lviv, Sumy, and Chernihiv. Russian forces had also carried out airstrikes in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk and Luhansk region. More areas of Sylhet have been flooded due to rising waters of Surma and Kushiara rivers. The water level has risen further in areas that have already been flooded. 12 lakh people of the district have been affected by the floods. 274 shelters have been opened so far. Power system supply has been disrupted due to the floods. Electricity substations in several areas, including the suburbs of South Surma, have been submerged. As a result, power supply in these areas has been cut off since Tuesday. Besides, power supply to more areas of Kanaighat, Zakiganj, Kompaniganj, Jointapur, Shodor and Penchuganj upazelas has been cut off due to rising water level in the houses, said the Chief Engineer of Power Development Board, Sylhet. Now news on weather. Weather forecast valid till 6 p.m. tomorrow said rain or thunder showers with intense lightning flashes and temporary gusty or squally wind is likely to occur at many places over Mymensingh and Sylhet divisions, at a few places over Rangpur, Rajshahi, Dhaka and Chattogram divisions, and at one or two places over Khulna and Borishal divisions, with moderately heavy to heavy falls at places over northeastern part of the country. Now today's maximum and minimum temperature in divisional cities. Maximum 34 and minimum 24.3 degrees Celsius in Rangpur, maximum 36.1 and minimum 27.1 degrees Celsius in Rajshahi, maximum 35 and minimum 23.4 degrees Celsius in Mymensingh, maximum 28.8 and minimum 23.2 degrees Celsius in Sylhet, maximum 35.7 and minimum 28 degrees Celsius in Dhaka, maximum 37.2 and minimum 29 degrees Celsius in Khulna, maximum 35.5 and minimum 28.4 degrees Celsius in Borishal, and maximum 34.2, minimum 26.8 degrees Celsius in Chattogram division. The highest temperature of the country was recorded at 37.2 degrees Celsius in Khulna, and lowest was recorded at 22.4 degrees Celsius in Srimangal today. The weather forecast for next 3 days, day and night temperature may remain nearly unchanged and there will be cloudy sky at many places over the country. Light rain may be occurred somewhere. Similar day temperature may remain and maximum temperature may be stand at 34 degrees Celsius in the capital tomorrow. Minimum night temperature may be stand at 26 degrees Celsius. There will be cloudy sky in the capital. Day temperature may fall 1 degree Celsius and maximum day temperature may stand at 33 degrees Celsius in the capital on Friday. Minimum night temperature may be stand at 25 degrees Celsius. Rainfall is likely to occur in the capital. Rainfall is likely to occur in the capital on Saturday. Maximum day temperature may be stand at 33 degrees Celsius and minimum night temperature may stand at 25 degrees Celsius. Moving on to some news on sports. Bangladesh kept them in front foot at the Chattogram Test against Sri Lanka after the century of Mushfiqur Rahim and a fruitful efforts by the bowlers at the end of day 4 today. On a day when Mushfiqur reached the 5,000 run test runs landmark as the first Bangladeshi batter, he made it more remarkable, registering his 8th century. Bangladesh compiled 465 runs before being all out in their first innings and gained a 68-run lead as Sri Lanka were bowled out for 397 in their first innings. At a time when the test looked heading for a draw, Bangladesh reduced Sri Lanka to 39 for 2 at stumps, raising a hope to force for a result. Sri Lanka still need 29 runs to level the score. Tamim Iqbal was the highest scorer for the side, 133, while Mushfiqur Rahim hit 105. Liton Dash struck 88 and opener Mahmudul Hassan Joy added 58. Now to end the bulletin, headlines once again. BNP has no right to talk about elections as party extremely polluted election process during its rule, says Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina urges all not to build indiscriminate structures as she inaugurates newly built multi-story Cox's Bazar Development Authority building. Parliament goes into budget session from June 5th. Bangladesh not to be affected by India announcing closure of wheat exports, says Commerce Minister. Flood situation in Sylhet worsens as water level increases in Shubma and Kushiara rivers. 274 shelters opened in affected areas. Environment pollution claims 90 lakh lives across global annually, reveals Lancet Journal research paper. And Sri Lanka trailed Bangladesh by 29 runs of Chattogram Test. Mushfiqur Rahim enters in 5,000 Test run club. That's all from the newsroom for the moment. Thank you for staying with us and request you to follow health guidelines, wear a mask and stay safe from corona. Khuda Hafiz.
Na dir dir din ta na 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 dir dir din ta na na ta din ta na